South Florida is ground zero for climate change, and Floridians are familiar with the severity of flooding here. But with the development of the South Florida Climate Ready Tech Hub, there's a possibility to address and improve this issue through coastal resiliency projects. Caplin News reporter Sofia Bolivar from our DC Bureau looks into what Tech Hub is fighting for.
Behind me is the Economic Development Administration, which will fund between 5 to 10 tech hubs this summer out of the 31 designated across the country. With South Florida's tech hub being the only one promoting climate resilience, the fight for its funding here in DC can lead to less flooding back on the South Florida streets. With intense storms in South Florida comes intense flooding, especially in low-lying areas. In November, Alyssa Chavez was victim to a nameless storm in Fort Lauderdale near the beach.
I didn't think much of it. It was raining pretty hard, but I was like, oh, another rainy day in Florida. So I just drove to work. I was going under a bridge and it was flooding a lot under. I was about to go on the highway. My car just stopped. I didn't know what to do. I just left my car there and then I had to get it towed.
Flooding is a concern for residents, and many question how livable South Florida will be in the future if projects focused on climate-ready infrastructure are not carried out.
We've got the threat of storm surge and stronger hurricanes threatening our older, weaker buildings. And also we have sea level rise and climate change. They're combining to bring us worse flooding. More intense rainstorms are becoming more common as the planet warms. And the number one thing I think we would need to fix a lot of this is money.
In October 2023, the Economic Development Administration, or EDA, designated the South Florida Climate Ready Tech Hub as the only tech hub in Florida, and it's the only tech hub focused on climate resilience out of the 31 hubs across the country.
There's some coastal resilience projects that already have some funding. They could be enhanced through tech hub activities.
One of the companies that has partnered with the tech hub and focuses on coastal defense is OnePrint, an infrastructure 3D printing company that produces seawalls to protect the shoreline and prevents flooding.
Some other advantages of the 3D printing manufacturing is that it can be localized. So a 3D printer can be set up within hours and start producing infrastructure that can be placed just feet away. For example, our seawalls is something that we can bring a machine to the area, say it's an inland canal. We can produce many seawalls in a rapid amount of time.
At Florida International University's Government Relations Office in Washington, D.C., one intern is advocating for the Climate Tech Hub. During the spring semester, she researched how public research institutions are progressing environmental resilience.
I had the opportunity to submit over 50 programmatic and language appropriation request forms in order to appropriate money from the federal government towards our research initiatives.
The Tech Hub would potentially bring in many advantages to South Florida, with a broad range of themes such as innovative technologies, workforce development, and overall resilience to the evolving climate.
We could see sea level rise and flooding impacting our communities. I think what they're doing is incredible, and I look forward to seeing it come into fruition.
Now it's a matter of waiting. By August, the EDA will decide if it will fund the Climate Ready Tech Hub and support the climate resilient companies. Reporting for Caplin News from Washington, D.C., I'm Sofia Bolivar.